Hello guys, this is Pustakverma and you are watching Pustakverma Education for All YouTube channel. And today we are gonna discuss about a play Facing Death by Johan August Strindberg from grade 12 compulsory English new course. So before dealing with the play Facing Death by August Strindberg, we have to discuss some of the questions mentioned in our text. Question A. Have you ever observed your parents in financial crisis? के तपाईले कहिले आफ्नो गार्जियनलाई फाइनेन्शियल क्राइसिसमा अब्जर्भ गर्नुभएको छ? If yes, what was it like? Yes, I have observed my parents in a financial crisis once as they sold their jewels to admit me in the college and to buy me a bicycle. Question B. Have you ever appreciated their selfless act for your sake? If yes, how? के कहिले तिमीले के गरेका छौ उनीहरूको selfless actलाई appreciate प्रशंसा गरेका छौ? If yes, then how? Yes, I have appreciated their selfless act for my sake time uh, and again. धेरै पटक मैले गरेको छु. I realized their difficulties in growing me and educating me at a private school and college too. I assure them and make them sure time to time that I will make their dream come true and be a government officials as per to their desires in near future and take care of them in their old age. About author of the play, Johann August Strindberg. John August Strindberg was a Swedish writer, playwright, and a painter. Ranked among the Sweden's most important authors, his works fall into two major literary movements, naturalism and expressionism. His theatre tries to create a perfect illusion of reality through detailed sets and unpoetic literary style and reflects the way real people speak, and a style of acting that tries to recreate reality. His famous plays are Miss Julie, Facing Death, A Dream Play, The Ghost Sonata, and in this play, Facing Death, Steinberg dramatizes a heroic sacrifice made by a bankrupt man for the sake of his daughters. About Glossary, this Monsieur, a title used before the name of a man to refer him, used alone as a formal and polite form of address, shows coin in Switzerland, mortgage, an agreement by which money is lent by a building society, bank, etc. Reproach, to blame or to criticize somebody, privation, lack of basic comforts or things necessary for lives, promenade, to take relaxed walk or ride in public, francs, the currency of Switzerland. Then about impudence, rudeness, prerogatives, a right or privilege, scaffold, a platform on which people are executed, scams, a child who enjoys playing tricks, causing troubles, a vice, a hole so deep that it seems to have no bottom, drought, cracks from where air flows, weld, party, then incendiary, designed to set buildings, conscriptions, the act of forcing somebody by law to serve in armed forces, spook a ghost, retrogrades to get worse, to return a less good condition, exalted in a state of extreme spiritual happiness, divulge to make something known, chiffonier, a high chest of drawers, often having a mirror at the top. Then about the S visual summary. S altogether uh, five or six characters. As we can say that this is three and four, five, six characters in this play Facing Death. The first one is Monsieur Durand, yes, who is the father of these three daughters, Therese and Annette and Adele. These are the three daughters of Monsieur Durand. And there comes a yes, army officer, lieutenant named Antonio, and then Friday is a cake carry a delivery person's is the family falls in a financial crisis and the father desires to kill himself by burning into the house so that the family members are his daughter's future will be secure and they will get a large sum of money as mortgage. Yes, so then about the summary of the story. One of the August Strindberg's one-act plays Facing Death is a story of Monsieur Durand. Monsieur Durandको के हो त story हो a former railroad worker and widower in financial ruin. विधुर पनि हुन्छ वाइफ मरिसकेको कारणले गर्दा पहिला रेलरोडमा काम गर्थ्यो. Durand has three daughters, Adele, Anity and Therese and no prospect for their futures. भविष्य तिनीहरूको सेक्योर हुँदैन. Even though he has tried to provide for his children, even letting out his house to loggers, even every attempt he has made was made to with scorn and derision. But Monsieur Durand had planned to ensure his daughter's financial future, even if it means he must face his own death. यसरी उसले आफ्नो जीवनलाई पनि बलिदान गरेर के चाहन्छ त he wants to help his daughter financially. Facing death is a story of a father's love for his children. Even when it means sacrificing everything, father is ready to sacrifice his even life as well. It opens with the conversation between the protagonist Monsieur Durand and his daughter Adele. दुईटाको कन्भर्सेसनबाट प्ले के हुन्छ ओपन हुन्छ where they discuss about financial crisis of the family. She questions the responsibility of her father towards his daughter and family. उनी के कुरा क्वेसन गर्छिन् फादरले आफ्नो रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी पुरा गरिरहेको छैन. Then they talks about the insurance whether her father has paid or not. The father mentions about the mortgage as well. यस त्यो धितो राखेर घरलाई धितो राखेको हुन्छ and the family is intermingled with financial crisis. त्यसपछि परिवार के हुन्छ सङ्कटमा गएको हुन्छ त्यो कुराहरू गर्छन् where the family has to pay dues and bills. विभिन्न ठाउँहरूबाट विभिन्न प्लेसेसहरूको बिल्सहरू रिमेन हुन्छन् तिर्न बाँकी हुन्छन् फाइनेन्सियल क्राइसिसले गर्दा ग्रोसरीबाट बेकरीबाट बुच्चर सोपबाट which hadn't paid for a long time. त्यस कारण त्यसको बिलहरू पनि आउँछन्. The father pays tributes to क्यान्डल्स उसले के गर्छ क्यान्डललाई बढी सिग्निफिकेन्ट दिन्छ आफ्नो वाइफलाई बढी लभ गर्छ वाइफको अथवा डेथ भएको ठाउँमा क्यान्डल बाल्न चाहन्छ मोर देन द फुड एन्ड अदर थिङ्स. एडली सिम्स डिसएपोइन्टेड टु रिसिभ एन्टोनियो. अब घरमा खानेकुराहरू नभएर ब्रेकफास्ट नभएको कारणले गर्दा एडेलले के चाहन्छन् ऊ अलिकति खिन्न हुन्छन् एन्टोनियोलाई रिसिभ गर्न. त्यसकारण उनले के भन्छन् आफ्नो फादरलाई के गर्छिन् त म्यानेज गर्न भन्छन्. Therefore, she requests her father to go and receive him. She supports her mother and states her opinion that if her mother was alive, the family wouldn't face such types of financial crisis. अब यदि के गर्थ्यो उनको आमा उनीहरूको विचारमा छोरीहरूको विचारमा यदि उनको आमा जिउँदो भएको भए फ्यामिलीले यस्तो फाइनेन्सियल क्राइसिस के गर्थ्यो फेस गर्ने थिएन किन त सी वुड म्यानेज इट प्रपरली. अल द थ्री डटर्स एलोङ विथ हर लुक अनह्याप्पी एन्ड डिससेटिस्फाइड. सबै छोरीहरू के हुन्छन् असन्तुष्ट देखिन्छन् रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी र फादरको हेरेर. मिनवाइल एन्टोनियो अराइभ्स टु हेभ ब्रेकफास्ट. एन्टोनियो नास्ता खान आउँछ ऊ एउटा के हुन्छ त ल्युटिनेन्ट्स हुन्छ ऊ डेली पे एउटा के हुन्छ त कस्टमर्स हुन्छ गेस्ट हुन्छ. ड्युरेन्ट स्टेट्स एन्टोनियो द्याट द फ्यामिली हेज लस इन बिजनेस एन्ड दे आर अनेबल टु म्यानेज एनिथिङ फर द फ्यामिली. एन्टोनियो डिजायर्स टु स्टे विथ द फ्यामिली एज अ गेस्ट फर वन मोर मन्थ and he desires to pay in advance. उसले पैसा बरु म पहिले तिर्छु तर म तिमीहरू यहीँ फ्यामिलीमा बसेर खाना खान्छु भनेर उसले भनेको हुन्छ. But Durant is not easy to accept his proposal. Rather, he openly mentions that family is not able to run business anymore. अब फ्यामिलीले कसैलाई खाना खुवाउन र बसाल्न सक्दैन. In reply to the question of Antonio whether Durant belongs to Swiss citizens by birth or not, त्यसपछि उसले के गर्छ विषयवस्तु चेन्ज गर्छ र उसलाई के भन्छ ड्युरेन्टलाई वेदर हि बिलोङ्स टु स्विस सिटिजन स्विजरल्यान्डबाट हो हि एफर्म्स उसले भन्छ हि वाज फ्रम स्विजरल्यान्ड. यस एन्ड ड्युरेन्ट गोज आउट फर म्यानेजिङ ब्रेड. त्यसपछि ड्युरेन्ट बाहिर नास्ताहरू ब्रेडहरू म्यानेज गर्न जान्छ. देन ट्रेसी द यङ्गेस्ट डटर of the family enters on the stage and she is very elated to see Antonio as she was in love with Antonio. उनी के हुन्छ त्यसपछि यङ्गेस्ट डटर थेरेसी आउँछिन् र उनले के गर्छिन् एन्टोनियोलाई देखेर एकदमै खुसी हुन्छन् as she was in love with Antonio. Antonio exalts हर ब्युटी उनको ब्युटीको के गर्छ एक्जेल्ट भनेको प्रेज गर्छ प्रशंसा गर्छ एन्ड देन दे कन्भर्स अबाउट हर पेट क्याट देन एन्टोनियो पुट हिज आर्म्स अराउन्ड हर नेक उनको घाँटीको चारैतिर के गर्छ हात राख्छ एन्ड किसेज हर भेरी वेल एकदमै किस पनि गर्छ which upsets Durant यो हेरेर ड्युरेन्ट के हुन्छ एकदमै दुखी हुन्छ being angry at him he threatens Antonio to go away from there त्यसपछि घरबाट बाहिर जान उसले के गर्छ धम्की दिन्छ and as a result Antonio also leaves the place his daughters become angry and sad by looking at their father's behavior misbehavior देखेर छोरीहरू रिसाउँछिन् furthermore they are angry and upset at him for his irresponsible behavior towards the family त्यो देखेर पनि उसको जो रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी नभएको कारणले गर्दा तिनीहरूले के सोच्छन् फादर इज नट रेस्पोन्सिबल टुवर्ड द फ्यामिली एन्ड डटर्स as Durant is going away for collecting money for the family he says his daughters to extinguish the fire and closes the door ढोकाहरू बन्द गरेर राख झाल म बाहिर गइरहेछु he asks Chelsea about her Antonious relationship त्यसपछि फादरले के गर्छ थेर्सीसँग उसको एन्टोनियोको रिलेसनसिपको बारेमा सोध्छ जब उनी कन्फर्मेसन गर्छिन् ड्युरान्ट सेज हर टु गो एन्ड म्यारी हिम त्यो देखेर थेर्सी पनि के हुन्छन् एकदमै के हुन्छ ह्याप्पी हुन्छन् र उनले आफ्नो फादरसँग क्षमा माग्छिन् for the misbehavior she has shown to her father, not favoring and disregarding her father. They get confused at his outgoing and return or not in such critical cases. तिनीहरू कन्फ्युजन हुन्छन् वेदर फादर बाहिर यति ढिलो गइरहेको छ फर्केर आउँछ कि आउँदैन आफ्टर द्याट ड्युरान्ट रिटर्न्स होम एन्ड डिस्क्लोजेज हिज पास्ट लाइफ त्यसपछि आफ्नो विगतको घटनाहरू भन्छ विथ हिज वाइफ आर देयर मदर how they fall in love when they were young and how they settled in Switzerland after getting their neutralized citizenship पाइसकेपछि कसरी स्विजरल्यान्डमा सेटल हुन्छन् though their mother was from France and then they left their mother and joined France in war against Germany. It is their mother's carelessness. उसले के भन्छ फादरले मदरको केयरलेसनेस र पुलिस स्पेकुलेसनको कारणले गर्दा उनले के गर्छिन् आफ्नो प्यारेन्टल रिलेसन बिगार्छिन् र प्यारेन्टल प्रोपर्टी पनि तिनले पाउँदैनन् इभन इफ हाउ हि टुक अल दिस फल्ट्स उसले गल्ती मदरको भए पनि फादरले के गर्छ अल द रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटिजहरू लिन्छ फाइनली इज ड्युरेन्ट रिकलेक्ट्स एडेल द्याट सी सुड टेक केयर अफ हर सिस्टर्स एडेल एउटा के हुन्छन् एकदमै रेस्पोन्सिबल डटर हुन्छ त्यसकारण उसले के भन्छ आफ्नो एल्डर छोरीलाई के भन्छ अब तिनले आफ्नो छोरी बहिनीहरूलाई मदर जस्तो केयर गर्नुपर्छ र उसले सिग्निफिकेन्ट फ्याक्ट पनि के गर्छ रिभिल गर्छ फेसिङ नो इन्कम ड्युरेन्ट डिसाइड टु बर्न डाउन द हाउस अब उसले घरलाई जलाउन खोज्छ र आफू पोइजन खान खोज्छ हि एडभाइजेस एडिल द ओल्डेस्ट एन्ड the oldest daughter to keep the truth secret and cash in on fire policy to save the family उसले के भन्छ जब म के हुन्छ आगा म जलेर मर्छु त्यसपछि के हुन्छ फ्यामिलीले लार्ज सम अफ मनी पाउँछ एज ए इन्सुरेन्स पोलिसी देन इट टेक्स पोइजन सेट्स द फायर इन द हाउस so that the family would receive large sum of claim from the fire insurance agency as he dies in the fire and then the play terminate त्यसपछि प्ले इन्ड हुन्छ एजेन्सी फायर इन्सुरेन्स अनुसार यदि ऊ के हुन्छ त आगोमा जलेर मर्छ भने फायर इन्सुरेन्स एजेन्सीले फ्यामिलीलाई के गर्छ लार्ज सम अफ मनी दिन्छ त्यसकारण उसले पोइजन खान्छ र घरलाई के गर्छ जलाउँछ यसरी द प्ले टर्मिनेट्स अथवा इन्ड हुन्छ So the facing death by August Strindberg is Monsieur Durand first takes poison and then burns the house. Suppose this is Monsieur Durand and he takes the poison and then burns the house. The family suffers from financial crisis as well. Characterization is character analysis. Characters analysis facing death. The first prominent character protagonist of the story, Monsieur Durand, is Monsieur Durand is the protagonist of the play Facing Death and he is the head of the family. He has three daughters. He is a loving, caring and responsible father as well as husband. He loves his country very much. He is now a widower. उसको wife मरेको कारणले गर्दा widower हुन्छ who lives with his daughters. But his daughters don't love him and regard him not as a good father or head of the family as he was unsuccessful in taking care of the family properly. He is a pension proprietor भनेको एउटा उनीहरूले घर बनाएको हुन्छन् जहाँ मान्छेहरूलाई खाना खुवाउने र बस्ने सुविधाहरू दिएको हुन्छन् once he worked in the state railroadमा पहिला उसले काम गर्ने गर्थ्यो he seems protective and supportive to his daughters he gets stressed as finds Antonio kissing his daughter Thesey He's a tragic hero, an ideal person who takes responsibility of all the faults of the family and misdeeds he commits, though his daughter regard him as a bad and irresponsible person, but he's not so in practical life. He shows and offers lots of love and respect for his daughters too. He suffers from financial crisis in a way that no way to come out of it, and he sacrifices his life himself and his life for the saving and fostering the bright future of his three daughters at the अन्तिममा उसले के गर्छ आफ्नो लाइफ पनि सेक्रिफाइस गर्छ सेकेन्ड क्यारेक्टर एडेली एडेली is the eldest daughter of Monsieur Durant and Mrs. Durant. She is a young and unmarried lady of 27 years old. She is the only responsible and wise lady who characters of carries the characters of mother, and she bears qualities of a mother as she is able to handle the family obstacles and manage the family during crisis. सङ्कटको बेलामा पनि उनले राम्रो तरिकाले म्यानेज गर्छिन्. Durant regards her as the most responsible daughter in the family and he has much faith on her. धेरै विश्वास पनि गर्छ. Anity is Anati is the second daughter of the family and she is 24 years old. She plays no prominent role in the family. She is the minor character in the play and no more discussion about her found in the play. Theresia is the youngest and the most loving daughter of Monsieur Durand. She is also 24 years old at that of Anity, and she is in love with Antonio, a paying guest, and they have affairs too. The question of relationship between Thersi and Antonio by Monsieur Durand, she affirms it. उनले स्वीकार गर्छिन् कि थेरेसीको एन्टोनियोसँग relationship छ. And then the father says her to go and get married. When she knows a fact about her father, then he was no solely responsible for all the faults in the family. She asks her father to forgive her. उनले आफ्नो फादरसँग क्षमा माग्छिन्. Antonio is a lieutenant and a paying guest in the play. He is a paying guest to the Durand's pension. उसको घरको त्यो के हुन्छ एउटा पेइङ गेस्ट हुन्छ and he is a lover of Therese who kisses her and praises her beauty a lot in the play. As Durand notices this, he threatens him to go out of the house. Prairie. Prairie is an errand अथवा delivery boy who delivers things and foodstuffs to the family in the play. In this way, there are altogether 6 characters in the play. Main theme facing death. Facing death surrounds so many themes. The first one is a father's love for his children and even when it means sacrificing everything. जसले के हुन्छ आफ्नो हरेक चिज बलिदान गर्न खोजेको हुन्छ. The play project modern man suffering from financial crisis. त्यो पनि एउटा theme हो and devotion and sacrifice for the sake of the family. It depicts complicated relation between among the three daughters, their father and the mother and responsibility to one another. यो मोडर्न एउटा के हो त प्ले हो भन्न सक्छौँ. It is love affair between Thersian and Antonio and the youngest daughters of the Monsieur Durand. So these are the themes of the play. Financial crisis that most often takes अथवा found in the family. Understanding the text. Answer the following questions. Where does the play take place? Play कहाँ घट्छ त? The play takes place in the dining room with a long table of house of Monsieur Durand. Why do the grocery, the baker and the butcher send their bills to the Durant household? किन त उसले बिल तिरेको हुँदैन पैसा धेरै ड्यू भइसकेको हुन्छ त्यसकारण उनीहरूले बिल पठाउँछन्. And why does Monsieur Durant spend money on the candles when he doesn't have money to buy even bread? Bread किन्ने पैसा नहुँदाखेरि पनि candles माथि उसले पैसा खर्च गर्छ. Monsieur Durant spend money on the candles when he doesn't have money to buy even the breads because he has deep sense of affection, emotion, respect and love for his late reign is which was more significant to him in comparison to foodstuffs and hunger. Why did Monsieur Durant sell his life insurance? वन्स के गर्छ उसले लाइफ इन्सुरेन्स एउटा मान्छेले उसँग के गरेको हुन्छ इरिटेट गरिसकेको हुन्छ पैसा उधारो हुन्छ त्यसकारण उसले के गर्छ he sells his life insurance to pay the debt or dues of a person who irritates him very much. Then question E. Why has Monsieur Durant paid fire insurance? उसले फायर इन्सुरेन्स किन तिरेको हुन्छ धितो घरलाई किन राखेको हुन्छ to put up as security or collateral को रूपमा राखेको हुन्छ so that his daughters get loan or money to run their house. How did Monsieur Durant and his Mrs. Durant run out of their inheritances from both sides? In fact, Monsieur Durant and Mrs. Durant ran out of their inheritances from both sides because of their foolish speculations and carelessness. Furthermore, the inheritances were utilized in bringing up their children as well. Why does the Monsieur Durand tell a lie about his birthplace? Tells a lie about his birthplace for the sake of his wife and is inclined towards his nation or patriotism. What business is Monsieur Durand running to make a living? उसले एउटा पेन्सन प्रोप्राइटरको बिजनेस चलाएको हुन्छ. He runs the business, a होमस्टेको बिजनेस जहाँ के हुन्छ उसले मान्छेहरूलाई भिजिटर्सलाई के गर्छ वेलकम्स गर्छ गेस्ट जस्तो र फुड्स बेड्स रुम्सहरू प्रोभाइड गर्ने गरेको हुन्छ. By this they earn the money. What plan does Monsieur Durand have to help his daughters with money? उसले आफ्नो छोरीहरूलाई कसरी पैसाको साथमा मद्दत गर्न चाहन्छ? Plans to help his daughter with money by killing himself and in the fire and burning his house. He knows that fire insurance company will provide his daughters large sum of money after that. How does Monsieur Durand die? कसरी मर्छ? Monsieur first set the fire in the house, then he takes poison to show that fire has killed him to provide compensations to his daughters and he dies. Reference to context. Question number A. Sketch the characters of Monsieur Durand. And इसको हमले above अथवा we can see in the character analysis. How do we know that Durand family has reached a dead end? We know that Durand family has reached a dead end due to following reasons. Durand family is unable to manage or buy food, breakfast, and coffee for the family. पहिलो, the grocery, the baker, and the butcher sent their bill to Durand family because Durand's family had ordered so many foodstuffs from their shop but hadn't paid the due. Durand stated that when his business was down for 3 months, he was helped by an American family. Durand sells his life insurance to pay the due of a person who irritates him very much. The family has reached such a dead end regarding financial crisis that Durand kills himself in the fire at the end and provides his death insurance money to his daughters. So these are the reasons that these are the reasons that show that Durand family has reached to a dead end. Question C. The mother, though already dead, seems to have had a great influence on daughter, especially Theresa. Do you agree? The mother, though, answer is yes. The mother, though already dead, seems to have had a great influence on the daughters, especially Theresa. I agree with the given statement. The following instances in the play justify this. First, throughout the play, all the daughters, especially Theresa, seems to be praising her mother very much in comparison to others. Theresa considers Julian as responsible for all the problems and guilt of the family. She praises her mother mostly throughout the play, associating her to innocent and gentle family members of the family. All the daughters, including Theresa, have much respect and love for their mothers. They have such a belief that if their mother had been alive, they would not have gone through such a terrible poverty. Rather, their family would have solved in any other ways. Question number D. Discuss the relationship between Monsieur Durand and his wife. Monsieur Durand and his wife had a mutual bond, close connections. They were originally from France. They loved each other so deeply, and they got married and shifted to Switzerland from France, and they settled in Switzerland, and received the neutralized citizenship. Settled in Switzerland. It's not France. This is Swiss. Switzerland, Swiss. Received neutralized citizenship. They had a very good and sound relationship in the opening, but when he joined the French army against the Germans, their relationship got worse. Furthermore, Durand disregarded his relationship with his daughters and wife too due to misunderstanding among them. His wife Mrs. Durand lost her parental inheritances completely because of her carelessness and foolish speculations. As his family relations got worse, he became compelled to depart from his business and continued his pensions. At the end of the play, Monsieur Durand reveals the fact that to his daughters that it was him who was entirely responsible from it was not him who was responsibility for the blames, faults, and problems crisis of the family as told by Mrs. Duran. Rather, it was coincidences and circumstances that made the family suffer in a such a way. He was not solely responsible for all the obstacles aroused in the family. These all reveals the fact that relationship between Monsieur and his family was not so comfortable and sound at the end. Question E. Money determines the relationship between characters in the play. Elaborate this statement with the examples from the plays. Obviously, money determines the relationship between characters in the play facing death. All the characters arise in the Durant family due to money. And is all the obstacles arise in the is Durant's family due to money. Is and money plays a vital role in bonding the family members and detaching them from each other's. Mrs. Durant loves her husband even if she loses her parental inheritances due to her own foolishness. Mr. Durant doesn't have sound relationship with his daughters and his wife because he's unable to fulfill the basic desires of them. Even at the end of the play, Mr. Durant burns himself in the fire and has poison to kill himself, assuming that his daughters will get the insurance money and their concept towards their father may be changed. Thus, it is money in the play that not only destroys the family relationship but also kills the protagonist of the play. Overall, it is clear that money can have an impact on the love and relationships. Question number F. Monsieur Durand kills himself so that his daughters would get 5,000 francs as the compensation क्षतिपूर्तिको रूपमा पाउन सक्छन् from the insurance company. ड्युरान्डले आफूलाई किल गर्छ किन त त्यसकारण उसको छोरीहरूले के पाउन् 5,000 francs compensation क्षतिपूर्तिको रूपमा insurance companyबाट पाइहालुन्. What does his plan tell us about him is in the play Facing Death, Monsieur Durand, the protagonist is disgusted by the family members, especially his three daughters. सबैले तिनलाई के गर्छन् घृणा गर्छन्. Since they regard him as an unsuccessful and irresponsible father to fulfill the basic desires of them, the family faces grim poverty. एकदमै धेरै गरिबी फेस गर्छ due to many dues and bills to pay. He is unable to make progress in his business. Even his daughters find him as responsible for all the obstacles in the family, सबै समस्याहरूको लागि. And the family is dealing with financial hardships in the drama. Facing no income, Durand decides to burn the house and poison himself. He advises Adele, उसले आफ्नो elder छोरीलाई के भन्छ, the oldest one, to keep the truth secret and cash in on fire policy to save the family. Thus, Monsieur kills himself so that his daughter would get 5,000 francs as compensation and support from the insurance company. Question G. Discuss facing death as a modern tragedy. आधुनिक ट्रेजेडीको रूपमा यसलाई मेन्सन्स गर्ने. Tragedy is a branch of drama that treats with a serious and dignified style sorrowful and terrible events caused by the suffering, death, destructions and troublesome incidences. यिनीहरूले के गर्छन् ट्रेजेडीमा दुःखद घटनाहरू ल्याउने गर्छन्. The play Facing Death is a modern tragedy since it ends with the tragic death of the protagonist Monsieur Durand. अन्तिम उसको मृत्युबाट यो के हुन्छ प्ले अन्त्य हुन्छ त्यसकारण हामीले के भन्न सक्छौँ यो एउटा मोडर्न ट्रेजेडी हो. It suffers a lot in the play in a such a way that the main character in the modern tragedy suffers. जसरी मोडर्न ट्रेजेडीमा मेन क्यारेक्टर सफर हुन्छ त्यस्तै मन्स्योर ड्युरेन्ट पनि सफर हुन्छ. A modern tragedy uses the elements like struggle, tussles, irony, sarcasm, hatred, grim poverty, murder, killings, and etc. And as we go through the play Facing Death, we see characters especially suffering from such above mentioned characteristics and go through difficult days that the protagonist like Monsieur Durand gets no way except killing himself, burning in the fire and having poison so that the daughters may get the compensation or insurance money and their attitudes towards the father may change. The family is unable to fulfill the basic demands of the family and many bills and dues remains family's grim poverty and loss in business. Thus, we can say that it is an example of modern tragedy. So yes, this figure also reflects how the father faces financial crisis and finally kills himself by burning the fire and taking poison. This is the author's is. Then about reference beyond the text. Write a few paragraphs describing the role of a father in the family. Fathers, like mothers, are the pillars in the development of a child's emotional well being. The role of a father in the family is incredibly important to their children and children's psychological and physical well being. A good father should play following significant roles in the family. He is regarded as the financial contributor. उसलाई एउटा राम्रो फादरलाई फाइनेन्सियल कन्ट्रिब्युटर अफ द फ्यामिली भन्ने गरिन्छ. सपोर्टिङ पार्टनर पनि भन्ने गरिन्छ. लभिङ प्यारेन्ट सो इज एन्ड लभिङ हस्बेन्ड अफ द इज of his wife, and is also known as the protector, provider, disciplinarian. Above all, fathers provide a positive male role model for their children and help to promote, reinforce good behaviors. A good husband and father makes time for both his children and his marriage, contributes more than just a paycheck to the family. So this is the family and how the father plays role to all the daughters and the wives as well. Question B. In his famous essay Experimental Novel, Emile Zola says this is what constitutes the experimental novel to possess a knowledge of the mechanism of the phenomena inherent in man, to show the machinery of the intellectual and sensory manifestation under the influences of hereditary and environment, such as physiology, shall give them to us, and then finally to exhibit a man living in social condition produced by himself, which he modifies daily and in the heart of which he himself experiences a continual transformation. To what extent do you agree with Zola's ideas that human beings' intellectual and well as emotional capacities are determined by environment and heredity? Discuss the examples including facing death. Emile Zola was a French novelist, journalist, playwright who is best known for his literary school of naturalism and experimental novel. In the essay Experimental Novel, he states that human beings' emotional and intellectual manifestation are capacities are determined by their hereditary and environment. People can be agree with this sort of opinion to some extent, but not completely agree with this, but not completely agree with this. I am of the opinion that it is mostly environment and surrounding that determines people characters, behavior, and influences sensation, manifestation, emotional and sensory perception, not the heredity. In the play Facing Death by Johan August Strindberg opens with the daughter's disrespect and disregards to their father as they consider him as a solely responsible for the faults and financial crisis in the family. They have a very kind picture of their mother. These daughters have very kind picture of their mother but very cruel picture of their fathers. Yes, and they assume that if their mother was alive they wouldn't suffer from such types of financial crisis. But as the father reveals the fact at the end of the play and discloses the reasons of leaving her mother in order to protect his family, and how his wife, due to her own irresponsible behavior and foolish speculations, misses her all family inheritances. Further, it discloses that their mother indulged in such a bad environment even if she blamed for all the faults to her husband. It is the environment and circumstances make him compelled to sacrifice his life for his daughters, as he gets no any way to come out of financial crisis at the end of the play. So this is the experimental novel written by an Emily Zola. Yes? This is about the play Facing Death. If you find this play helpful and interesting, like the video and share it, comment it, and subscribe the videos. Click on the bell icon to get notification from upcoming videos. Thanks for watching this video. Goodbye. Have a good day.